Akala, and we're starting to see some very similar bans coming out here, Ox.
Yeah, this is actually crazy because we're getting the exact same bans as game one, despite the side switch. Normally we see a pretty drastic switch up in terms of ban priority when you get on blue side, but LNG haven't changed anything. Renekton was the third ban for JDG. They instead go for the Yuumi, concerned about maybe like a Yuumi first pick and then able to secure what AD carry you want later. This does mean that we're probably going to see, I mean, why not just prioritize the Zeri here? Question is, what does JDG do? Because Poppy is open and available, but so is Trundle. Lulu is open and available, and Yuumi isn't. You know, there's a lot of directions this could go.
Absolutely. Renekton as well, something that we've been talking about that was banned last game by JDG, was not banned by them this time around, as they said, look, we're happy to give you over the Zeri if we get the Renekton. And it looks like they want to give that over to 369. So yeah, locked and loaded here for the side of JDG. And again, this is something that 369 historically in 2020 when he was on top esports, exceptionally powerful on. Something he could do so much with. And honestly, it just feels like it just fits the wheelhouse of JDG who want to fight all the time.
Yeah, and the result we get is LNG go for the Zeri Lulu. Lulu, a champion that does really well into Lucian Nami. Lucian Nami, we still expect to have the pressure, but the polymorph, the shielding, does make laning a little bit trickier. Not as easy to dominate for Lucian Nami. And we get the Gnar come out for Arlay into the Renekton. So, I mean, JDG have to take Nami here. It's a no-brainer, which does mean we're getting kind of matched lanes so far. Obviously, Renekton in theory could be a flex, but we don't really expect to see it. And now we go to the second rotation. JDG have heavily lent into early game dominance. You have a Renekton, you have a Lucian Nami into Gnar, Zeri, Lulu. You want to be coming ahead early, and that's what they managed to do in game one, but a good jungle matchup can be really important. They are going to have first choice on this fourth pick, and they could also potentially have counter pick as well. Whether they want that to be in the jungle, whether they want that to be in the mid lane is up to them.
Yeah, I love the way as well we're starting to see some very unique bans coming out, very much targeted at different people. Of course, we might see the Akali banned away here by the side of JDG. They banned that and they were Nocturne in game number one as well. And for LNG, they've kind of switched it up a little bit, kind of saying, look, we're going to take away some of those big pocket picks that you have. We're going to take away things like the Nidalee, maybe even the Bel'Veth, something that can work as a carry, if you will.
This is the thing I love about Kanavi. You know how many games of Nidalee's played the split?
I don't know.
0. He hasn't played a single one. But LNG still just like, what if he does it? What if he just brings it out with Renekton? That could be such a problem. Yeah, they're so respectful, and they know Kanavi is the player who will just bring out these curveballs that they just don't want to deal with in Nidalee right now. I just think that's hilarious. I think that's great. JDG are very much focused onto Doinby picks, although, I mean, technically the Nocturne could be flexing the jungle. We have seen Doinby bringing out those melee mid laners, so clamping that pool down. My question is, do LNG ban? No, they're not even going to ban the Poppy. So, you know, here's a situation where JDG can either look to prioritize a mid here, and then they could end up going for a jungle pick. If LNG take Poppy, they'll probably be matched with the Trundle. Does put them in a strong position. And Sylas here, I mean, you have double melee solo laners. The Sejuani for JDG could be really strong. You also have the Gnarl to steal, which is fantastic.
Yeah, 100% AP ratio there is probably one of the big three ultimates I always think for a Sylas when I think about what items I want to take. The other one being Alistar. I can't think of a third one right now, but actually Dominus, funny enough, would be another one I would look for. But LNG now going to lock in the Poppy. Happy to give Tarzan that, seeing what JDG throw into it this time around. And now for LNG, you're kind of seeing where you can bring this next kind of fight. I do like the idea of the Galio to kind of open up what Doomby's going for, but no, going straight back for the Taliyah. The Taliyah just does very well into the Sylas, because yes, you can steal the Weaver's Wall, but it doesn't make that big of a difference. The Weaver's Wall is about how you use it, not that it is a massively impactful ability itself.
Yeah, but also anti-dash technology with that combo. A lot of dashes on JDG. This makes complete sense. I think the way Kanavi approached this draft was strong. If they went something like the Poppy, he has the ability to counter. Looking potentially at the Morgana, and he is going to bring this out. The Morgana jungle, we did see this as a counter to the Poppy in the LCK. Worked really effectively, because obviously, what does Poppy offer but CC, you know? And you have the ability to shred through these tankier targets, so... This is Kanavi. This is so typical of Kanavi being a player who will bring out these curveballs, who will have them prepared. Kind of why we saw the Nidalee ban and the Morgana. We'll see what it's able to do, but what a banger pickup. And I believe it was Canyon who brought out the Morgana up against T1 and resulted in a win. It wasn't actually against the Poppy there, but a really good matchup into it.
I mean... how do you prepare for this? It's such a pocket pick, and it's probably why we saw the Nidalee ban, because maybe LNG were like, well, we have to get rid of something. We have to make sure he can't get some kind of crazy pocket pick. Here's another one. AP-AD topside. That's going to be so much damage to deal with.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of damage output on the side of JDG. You know, there's a lot of scaling on the side of LNG. They have the anti-dash technology. We've talked about the Poppy and the Talia. They have the Lulu's Eri. But early pressure, I expect Kanavi just to run circles around Tarzan in this game. You have the super fast clear off the Morgana. If you get momentum, that's the thing with junglers. The reason why Snowball on the jungler can be so powerful is like, you know, if you can clear camps as fast as you have the damage to do so, as long as they're respawning in time. So if he gets ahead, he will just sweep up gold and become super powerful.
Yeah, funny enough, it was Canyon who picked it up against T1, and actually Pyosik picked it up against ERX as well this split. So
yeah, I think that was the matchup.
That was the one against the Poppy, but he actually lost that one. So you know, not exactly a great omen if you're a Morgana jungle enthusiast into the Poppy, but regardless whether or not you like it, this is going to be a hotly contested pick now, or not even a pick, a hotly contested jungle coming into this one here, because like you said, when you think of Morgana, you think of all the things they can do to just stop all that momentum, all that CC that can come out from a Poppy. Tarzan's going to have to pick and choose his rivals very, very carefully, and if they use that Black Shield too early, JDG could be in trouble as well.
Oh, they're looking for something.
Oh, Light just backs away. He's fine.
It's a really strong level 1 for JDG. If you hit like the Silas stun or a binding, they're going to go down. But yeah, I mean, just expanding on that point, like that's the thing with Poppy. The reason she's so powerful is she slams you into a wall. The stun is 1.6 seconds at rank 1, and it does go up with levels, but you do max it later. But like that is the main thing Poppy does, is stun and burst. Black Shield means you can't do that. And also, we talked about how the issue for this JDG composition, you're a short range comp with melee solo laners, you're playing into a Talia, into a Poppy, into a Lulu. These are all fantastic at shutting down melee champions, but it's because they have CC, right? Black Shield has a ton of value here in allowing JDG to function. But yeah, going to team win cons, JDG won that early momentum, and it'll be interesting to track how they can find that. Light and Lumao playing pretty aggressive in this level 1, but Kanavi is going to be the focus, I feel, for this game.
Yeah, we got to look at where this guy goes, how he ends up starting it up right now. And you can see there, just using that Tormented Soil to its absolute best ability. You want to try and get as many AoE camps as you possibly can. It just makes your clear far more enjoyable as a kind of in a general sense. And like you said, it's actually an incredibly quick clear once you get past those first 2 levels, basically, because you now actually have damage to be able to do stuff. You put a lot more, points into your Tormented Soil, and you're able to make things work out for yourself. So very much going to keeping an eye on him, very much going to see where he's able to work with and see what kind of thing, because again, if he lands that black Dark Binding and has the Black Shield to kind of follow up with, very hard to counterplay that.
Yeah, and he's been doing, I believe, Grump and Blue at the same time there. I think he was, or maybe just getting them both done in sequence. But now 369 going very aggressive.
I mean, he's going very aggressive, but Balala has Tarzan here. Flash away!
Oh, my Lord.
369 gets himself the solo kill, but will he be traded back? That is the question. The Q doesn't get the second proc right now, but the red buff is going to do a hell of a lot of damage. He's dashing, he's slashing, he's making it work.
Oh,
Lord, that was close.
I actually thought he was going to have it there. The thing is, this is the level 2 Renekton, right? If he was level 3... I think he might just double kill in that situation. 369 coming up all 9s then. You go. Just Chung Stormby. These solo laners for JDG. Whatever they had for breakfast, I want some.
I mean, they had their Weetabix, that's for absolute sure right now. But again, it's what JDG do best. They are fighters. They are looking for any kind of advantage. And it just shows how just well they understand their champions, how well they understand their matchups. Because again, traditionally speaking, the Talia should have constant push into the Sylas. It's only later in the game that the Sylas has some, as we can see here. This is just really smart play coming out here from 369, recognizing when and where he can go for different trades.
Yeah, has the Conqueror stacked up is the big thing. Gets the Fury for that Q with all that extra AD, and is able to burst him out. And that's the thing, doesn't even have his stun here, but just buys so much time in this situation. Ease through, gets the heal, ease back autos, and just doesn't quite have it. But man, that is a bad feeling for LNG to be losing top lane like this, and oh my Lord.
Yeah, he's got a lot of damage. Allah flashes away. He knew that there was a Q coming up very, very soon. Kanavi now finds Poppy, but again, like you said, Black Shield, Dark Binding, not really a lot Tarzan can do.
Yeah, I mean, he is not able to do anything against the Morgana, and now with the pressure in the solo lanes, this is like worst case scenario for JDG, for LNG, is that Kanavi, having all the backup from his team, can just waltz in uncontested, and Tarzan, I don't think you can do anything here.
I don't know. Kanavi's taking a hell of a lot of damage from this blue buff, so he needs to be very, very careful of it. He's going to smite there, and that's going to get him the blue buff there. But like I said, not a lot he can really do. Is Tarzan trying to walk away from this, but Yagao is there. More blood, more fighting. JDG know they have an advantage.
Yeah, and Kanavi's going to take the Grump as a reward. So shit, Tarzan secured the blue, but that is the cost. 3 camp lead for Kanavi, and this is the problem because top lane is losing so heavily because Yagao is able to move first. Tarzan is just going to get picked apart now, and Kanavi will continue to look for these engage angles, and Hope and missing now level 4. The Lucian army is really spiking. It's going to be so hard to contest, and Tarzan does get that good initial stun and a lot of damage in Kanavi. But Kanavi, even though he gets chunked, is so confident. He knows that follow-up won't work again because of the black shield. And remember, the damage from Poppy Z is doubled if she hits you in a wall. And obviously not able to do out the black shield. And then the CC chain, the power of the Renekton, the point-and-click stun means that Yagao is guaranteed to connect on the back end.
This is just great from JDG. They're already building themselves up to about 1,000 gold lead. And it comes off of this top side. We saw this in game 1 as well, just the focus they were able to kind of bring it. But then this one does feel like it's coming a little bit more, missing. There are binding stands as well as the Aqua Prisons. They're going to have to force the flash from Lumao. But the single target CC is too damn strong. And you just can't be letting that stuff go.
Yeah, I mean, one hits and the rest hits. That's how it goes. Bubble, notoriously a hard skill shot to connect because of the slow travel time. And one of the things is the travel time of the bubble is the same if it's like right next on top of you or max range. But when the binding hits, how can you miss? And Lumao ends up not only going down but burning some. So we have Yagao with an extra kill. We have bot lane who've got a kill. 369 as well. All 3 lanes winning with a farming jungler in a good matchup. This is JDG getting everything they want and more. It's almost a 2k gold lead already.
Yeah, it's getting hard. It's probably the best way I can put it right now. As we can see, Allah, he's got level 6 for 369, and there's nowhere for you to go, my son. 369's hitting 9s all the way to the bank.
This is just 999. Fantastic performance in game 1. Game 2, the early prio on the Renekton, a pick that is so controversial that people say, why is Renekton so highly prioritized? This is why. This is what you can do in the hands of a player like this. And 369 just finding this great window, knowing that Arla doesn't have the flash. And importantly, there's nothing for him to bounce off. With the Gnar, if there's a wave, you can bounce off it to get further away. Because there's no wave behind him, just gets jumped on. The double dash comes through, and 369 is becoming a scary menace on this Crocodile.
And this game is starting to run away from the side of LNG, similar to game 1, but it just feels like with the tools available to you, it's not a Sejuani top side, it's a Renekton, much more powerful when they get that first item spike. It's not a tankier jungler, it's a damage farming jungler, like you said. It's things that will just scale and scale and scale into a much bigger mid-game monster. And honestly, I was hyping up Ala at the start of this one. He's solo killed everybody else, but so far he's been solo killed in each of the games.
Which, you know, I feel like if we'd seen this matchup in the regular season and this had happened, I really would have been a bit like, yeah, okay. But Arla has been on such a massive step up in playoffs. Like you said, like I feel like the big one was going up against the Shy and really dominating that matchup. I gotta hold this thought because LNG's bot lane looks like they'll be able to get out of that one. But yeah, as I was saying, Arla dominated the matchup into the Shy. Did get obviously help from his team, but like he is being so on form. Which is why it's even more testament to 369 that he's going up against Arla in peak form and just running away with it. LNG will go for the Herald, given that JDG did heavily commit bot side, so they will at least get something out of that play.
They'll get something. It is not a lot, to be perfectly honest, but they will get something. So we're kind of coming back into this one here, and it's going to be more pressure from JDG, more just kind of pressure points for them to be able to kind of work from. And again, they're not really under any pressure. They can throw out a dark binding knowing they're going to be able to follow up on it. And even if they don't want to, if they hit it, they know they can kind of, put the pressure onto LNG. It's LNG who have to be a little bit more proactive, and LNG who have to be very careful because you got a tidal wave into a bubble. But Lights there pushing onto Hope as this Zeri trying to make this one work with the barrier. The heal comes out. It's so close between these AD carries. A flash from Hope as Tarzan finally joins in. You can even see Doonby joining as well. But no! Hope is good to try and trade it back, so even if he dies, he knows he's done his due diligence. He's going to try and maybe aggro this one away from Doonby. He's going to get a play as well. JDG making the best out of a bad situation.
And now we see topside. JDG's response.
Yeah, JDG's response, there's the ultimate there from Kanavi, does force the flash from Allah, and Allah has no choice. Allah has to get away from this at every single moment because he's just going to die otherwise.
Yeah, but flash down as well, missing more CS, plays for 369. Oh, it's just an absolute disaster. I just can't believe that JDG managed to get away from that one. It was a nice setup play for missing. But here's one of the problems with Lucian Nami, is that once you use all your cooldowns, there's not much left in the tank, right? They don't quite manage to kill Luma with the culling. And Hope, look at him. He's just altering Light like, oh, God, I don't want this. Light is the one who has the extended DPS. But the great call is at this point, Hope's starting to get cooldowns again. And they go back in for the burst on a Light. Light not expecting. He could have just backed away. Oh, fight, break it out. As soon as we come back in, we get no time.
We get no time. I do actually believe LNG took the Rift Herald there, so very nicely done by them. Having the dominance. Yeah, Tarzan has it in his inventory, so a small silver lining to try and bring back this gold, which is nearly 4,000 now, 3.5.
Wait, they already had the Rift Herald, right? Because they picked it up on that bot side play.
So wait, what happened here then?
Yeah, they already had the Rift Heralds.
Yeah.
Look, we're going in and out of replays. This is getting a little bit tricky to keep track of, but it looks like LNG just try to stop them from doing this, and Allah?
It's literally like that question mark ping you always give your teammates. You're just like, what is this?
I don't do that. I'm not toxic.
Oh, dear me. LNG now looking to see if they can catch out JDG, but Tarzan does get the Mega Gnar out of Yugao's pocket and also the tidal wave as well. But Lumao, you're caught, buddy. I feel like you needed to flash a little bit earlier than that. Uses the wild growth, gets hit by another aqua prison. He might as well be a fish because he's been underwater literally the entire time of this game. JDG are relentless ops. They are unwilting, unwavering in their pursuit of demolishing LNG.
And this is what I expect from JDG. Non-stop action, just kills galore, fighting non-stop. 2-1-3 on 369 the Renekton, 2-1-0 on the Lucian, 3-0 on Yagao. It's already a 4,000 gold lead, 4,500 just about at 11 minutes into the game. And bear in mind, LNG got the Herald. They haven't used it yet, but like the JDG just did this without a Herald, which is kind of the mind-blowing thing. They are just crushing right now.
Yeah, they are decimating LNG right now, and JDG, they're happy to keep pushing this one here. I will say, if you can stabilize this as LNG, get yourself up to maybe an item or two onto your AD carry and into your mid lane, you have an opportunity, and it's only an opportunity. As you can see, 369 constantly pushing in, and honestly, I love what they're trying to do right here. Now they're kind of saying, cool, Light, you are our win condition. We're putting gold and resources into you. We're going to drop down the Rift Herald here because we actually have a priority. 369 is walking straight in onto the top side because he knows just down how powerful he is. He's not even going to go the Blade of the Rune King build. He's going Gore Drinker, so he knows that he can just be a lot better.
Yeah, it'll be less damage than the Blade of the Rune King build, which obviously is really good for bursting targets, but super bulky already. That heal coming in pretty clutch in those extended fights. But yeah, JDG managed to stop anything more coming from the Herald. Obviously, gets thrown down. They get a decent amount of plate gold, positive for LNG, but they don't get anything more. They don't get the tower, and now JDG are pressuring forwards. And it's so scary, right? Because you can't engage on them with the Black Shield. If the binding hits, you're just dead.
Yeah, Tarzan.
And bubble hits.
Bubble hits. Tarzan trying to now jump onto 369, who's a cop with a rock in a hard place. And with the dominance will not help you here. Tarzan picks up that kill. Probably would have liked it to go over Light, but in those situations, Ox, you cannot leave it a chance. You have to kill him.
Yeah, when he has flash, you can't risk him being able to flash and then dash away. Bit of a 3 from 369 there. Not the best play after a good game. But the pressure continues. Even with the Crocodile down, they're going to continue to keep putting pressure on this tower here. Missing as well, something to bear in mind. Oh, not going to follow up on that one. But plate gold split between them, but also missing with the Spell Thieves, getting a lot of gold from altering the tower. He's going to have his mandate finished. I think Hope will probably have his rapid fire finished or be close to. This Lucian army is going to be spiking extremely hard off these item pickups.
Extremely hard and extremely early as well. You're thinking about 14 minutes. They're going to have themselves basically a 1.5 item Lucian and almost an Imperial Mandate as Tarzan now seeing if he can maybe make something work in this top side. Just has to hover at all times to make sure there isn't a dive going to happen. But with plates now dropping, this is going to be JDG kind of taking the fruits of their labor, looking to say, look, we planted the seeds, we took away all these plates. These towers are now going to be like paper.
Yeah, I mean, there's no way you can defend this without the plates. 369's moving up again. I think LNG just have to give this one up.
They're going to try and defend it as best they can. The Aqua Prison does not land, but it does force the dash out of Light, so won't have that for a couple more seconds. I mean, yeah, Tarzan's there.
Tarzan and Doyen be moving over. You got to respect the Poppy with the Hex Flash being able to get over the wall. But now the reset comes in. 369's wit in the area, so he might just be able to pick up the tower himself. We don't quite get the rapid fire from Hope. I think that's why he wanted the first tower. But the mandate is there. This is kind of like the one-shot territory for Lucian Nami. This is where it starts to really pop off. Dragon is up, and I think JDG might just look to prioritize that.
Yeah, first tower goes down. Kanavi picks up his Leandri's Torment. You have first items across the board. They're so rich on the side of JDG, and 4,000 gold, nearly just above it right now. No one's really prioritized these dragons as of yet, but 369 is going to say, hey, Shelly, how's it going? I'm going to be making myself a very good friend of yours as we kind of tussle it out here in the Baron Pit, but again, more and more pressure, more and more tools available to the side of JDG should they want to try and make something work around the map.
Yeah, what I love is they know that 369 is strong enough and they have enough presence mid. They don't even need to actually send more members for the Herald. 369 will solo it and they'll keep pressure bot side, but LNG going for a play.
They're going for a big play here. 3v3s. They look for it to flash in. Hope does get the cleanse and has to flash away as well. Lights joined the fight now. As you can see now, Yagao is here. He does steal the Zeri ultimate. Not the most impactful. Will do a hell of a lot of damage as he jumps straight back in. He gets himself knocked back though, and they take out the Poppy. Yagao is going mad in this fight right now, but Light still got some damage of his own. They really want to try and turn at least one kill, but the Dark Binding is good, and Hope's got the burst. Hope cakes down the LNG 80 carry. Doonby flashes away as he tries to kite this one out. Hit by the Dark Binding, has to immediately cleanse it away because he knows he's dead either way. Not quite able to hit the Ardent Blaze as JDG get everything despite LNG looking for the fight.
Yeah, I mean, LNG thought that was a window. The cutoff comes in, but JDG respond perfectly. The kiting, the use of the health bars almost as a resource. They're able to get everything. They don't quite get Doinby. But, I mean, you get bot tower, you got the Herald on the top side, Dragon's still available for you to take when you reset, and you got 3 kills. This is JDG's game. And you can see, this. I love the concept of this play, right? Tarzan goes in for the stun on the Hope, but the cleanse instantly comes out. And then the chase down with that big W from Light is looking really positive. But Yagao, I mean, after that play in game 1, he's wasted no time popping off in this game 2. Then we see the follow-up coming as well. Hope waiting for this window. The bubble over the wall onto the binding. Actually, it wasn't the bubble, sorry. It's the binding. And then Hope able to take that opportunity there. Just fantastic play. And then Doinby does cleanse at the end. But they picked up that Herald. Dragon is still on the cards. JDG don't want LNG to take it because they don't want them to get that objective bounty. But they're just looking to accelerate.
Ox, look at Yagao. He's got a Medjai's and he needs more stacks. He needs more souls to steal. That's up to 14 stacks now. This game is all but over. It would take a monumentous blunder from JDG to drop it now. And LNG, they look lost.
Yeah, I mean, this is a bigger deficit than game 1. And this is JDG playing a composition that suits them so well, that aggressively play and playing it to a T. They are not giving any room for LNG to breathe. And we can definitely say LNG have scaling elements of the composition. They have Zeri Lulu, right? We all know how powerful that can be. But JDG just not giving them the opportunity to get to that point. It's a very late first dragon. That is the one saving grace I'll say. JDG have been so focused on getting a gold advantage that they've left this dragon very late. Even with them taking this cloud now, the earliest we'll see a soul is like 34 minutes. So at least LNG don't have to worry about a soul win con anytime soon.
No soul win con, but honestly, I don't think they need it, to be perfectly frank. They don't need to know. And honestly, it feels like, yes, we talked about the top side and why it was so pivotal. I think Allah's just been gapped, like, straight up. There's not really other way to put it. I think the 369 has looked far better in the top side of the map, has made it look more competent, more comfortable. And unfortunately, it does mean that because Allah's having such a terrible time, Tarzan's had to cover. He hasn't really been able to be proactive like we normally see him because he has to cover for his top lane. And now he's being bullied even again. Yagao TP's in. Hope's here for a little bit of extra movement, but he gets the flash over the wall. Again, JDG, they know they're so strong. They know they can fight over anything. They don't need an excuse.
They're just not given any room for LNG. It's like any window they see an opportunity, they look to punish. And yeah, they only get Ollie's flash there, but they don't really burn anything in return apart from the TP. and they're just going to keep looking for these windows to apply pressure, keep fishing for these opportunities, these picks. And that's the thing, this composition can play so well for picks. You have a Morgana with that long-range binding. You have Lucian Nami who could just burst anyone on a whim. We did get that rapid fire completed for Hope, so if he sees a target overextended, one rotation of abilities, that's all it's really going to take to cut through at least the squishier targets.
And I mean, it's why, again, like, we're obviously focusing a lot on the top side, but you've got Hope and Missing now on 2 items, basically, for the Lucian, really putting under pressure. This is the power of the Lucian Nami. It's why we see it still so popular, so prevalent within the LPL, because when it gets ahead, when it gets to the resources it needs to get, this is what happens. Ola just got 2 tapped to half HP.
Yeah, I mean, it's just disgusting. It's just the ability to burst, the ability to play around those combo windows. This is why we've seen it go into first strike, because obviously we had pressed the attack before, but it is not played like a traditional AD carry. It's not played like I'm going to sit there, DPS, stack up, you know, lethal tempo, whatever. Or even just auto attack, which is about that burst. Oh, Missing
gets himself caught out, but he does have the tidal wave to keep himself alive for now. They're trying to put down the damage. These health bars are getting low. Ola jumps in, but Ola can't finish him off. These health bars are so low. Eventually, Yagao goes down. That's a 900 gold shutdown in favor of Light. Now you can see the cogs are kind of turning. All of a sudden, Tarzan is here. They find a little bit of a slow on Hope, who does have to dash and flash away. This was a 4v5, because while this was all happening, 369 was playing PvE in bot side.
Yeah, not quite enough members of JDG taken down to make a Baron play possible, especially with the low health bars of LNG. And look, JDG are still mega ahead right now. But we all saw game 1, right? We all saw how close it became because JDG started making mistakes in the mid to late game. I don't think this is that. I don't think we've hit that point, but you have to bear that in mind. And here, Missing just so overextended, no flash available. Such a vulnerable target. I think it's kind of crazy that Missing doesn't die here. It definitely feels like the focus was very split. There's no way that Arlic could have easily probably just killed Missing here, but instead opts to put pressure onto Hope and Kanavi. So just I still think it's mind-blowing that Nami doesn't die, but the shutdown comes in. It goes on Light as well, the shutdown from Yagao. So pretty positive overall for LNG.
I mean, very positive considering how this game's been going. And not only that, but you burn flashes, you burn cleanses. A lot of summoners were taken off the board. And you tore a couple of pages out of that Medjai Soul Stealer. So very nicely done here by LNG to try and keep themselves, honestly, just relevant. It was feeling like this game was all but over. But like you said, like in game number 1, a couple of mid-game mid-game decision-making from a JDG that just didn't really work in their favor. And they need to make sure that they don't fall into that again, because like, all of a sudden, 369's caught out a little bit. Doonby misses literally everything and continues to miss the rocks as he tries to throw them onto 369. I feel like they could have maybe killed him had they been able to land some of those Qs, but they'll just get the dominance and back themselves away. They did have to use their Weaver's Wall, and Yagao is just pushing in bot.
And this is a cost, right, off that play, trying to make that happen. Clap's coming in as well. Tarzan's dead. Wait, with Yagao having that much pressure bot side, they could probably just go Baron if they wanted with no jungler.
Yeah,
they might look for another pick, but bear in mind, Morgana does pretty high DPS to a Baron as well. See Yagao just put a stopwatch and ready to TP in, ready to make the play happen if they call, and they're gonna look for it. Morgana can obviously throw down that W, also has a decent amount of sustain. They want to try and find a fight though. There's not really any good TP flank wards, and I think the poke from the Zeri might make them reconsider. It's 25 seconds till the Dragon. They'll just go towards that.
Yeah, again, moments like that, JDG, they thought about it, but maybe thought for the better. If we give away 4 kills and maybe even the Baron as well, we're going to be in a much worse situation.
That probably would be enough, right? Yeah. 4 kills in the Baron, probably enough for LNG to come back in this game. Especially, someone mentioned, because Light's picked up that shutdown onto Yagao, he's actually not that far away from the 3-item Zeri spike.
Yeah, and even with the objective bounties coming up here now, get the first tower of the game. Well done to Ola, kind of try and make himself relevant back into this matchup. But it is going to be a little bit more about where you're kind of picking your fights now for JDG. It's no longer about just kind of throwing your wallet at them and saying, look, don't worry about it. But I will say the Infernal Soul or Infernal Rift is probably the best one for them, just because it opens up more avenues for Renekton to get in, for the Yagao to get on top of people, and also stops less terrain. So, you know, you're winning on both sides. Less places for Poppy to hit you, and more places for you to get in. Less places for Zeri to fire a W over. Yeah, it's so interesting when you have like the terrain change from Soul. Because one thing I remember was like, you know, like Maokai support that was popular a while ago with like Mandate. When you had like Mandate and Demonic Embrace was built on it.
that champ sucked so hard in final map because all the brushes were gone, right? Like, your biggest strength was just eliminated. And obviously, we don't have anything that extreme, but your points are really valid. The Poppy, less walls to slam into, the less things for the Zeri to fire over. But still, I think one thing is because there's less terrain, it's a bit easier to approach objectives. Like, if you're trying to get in towards the Baron, having those walls down mean you have more paths to take. You can see where 369 is now. If, let's say, that path is blocked, you can just loop through the new open cut. But talk about that moment. I guess that point right now, JDG are trying to apply pressure in the mid lane, and oh my god, Light.
Yeah, Light is going to lose his Immortal Shield Bow. They're going to lose the Wild Growth as well. Lumao had to use that one to keep himself safe. And that all came off of one Dark Binding. That was one bit of CC that led to literally 2 big cooldowns now being not available for LNG.
Yeah, and the thing is, they didn't even commit more. Like, Missing could have ulted, but they just got the burst down. And I love how Lumao tanks it for Light, but they just both end up getting chunked.
Oh, Yagao. I've been in a little bit of trouble here. Does end up getting the flash out of Ala while they take that tier 2 in the mid lane. So Yagao thought he was getting caught, but no, it was actually just him saying, look, all right, bring 2 people. Let's see what we can do here. So this Silas, absolutely massive. Still not really exceptional on the Magi Soul Stealers. The stacks have been cut down by 10. So Lot went from 14 to 4. Not exactly ideal there for him. As we can see, Kanavi, ooh, it's a sizable chunk. And that might be a go symbol here as Doinby puts himself in a position to get the flash out of Kanavi. They know he's got nowhere to go. Hope has to cleanse. Kanavi's going down. Not quite just yet. How does he survive that? The smallest of health bars in those moments are just causing so much agony for LNG.
So painful. It was so close to having him down. And that is literally just a wallet diff. You have a little bit more gold, a little bit more items. Maybe if Kanavi hadn't finished the Zhonya's, he would have just gone down. And now Tarzan's kind of chunked, actually. And JDG are hovering around this topside jungle. If anyone face checks and dies, they could just look for the Baron. So they have to respect that. And, you know, it's so easy for us to look from the observer perspective and be like, you know, seeing all this going on. The LNG, it's pretty much lights out at the moment. They have a couple of wards, but none of them, apart from this one that is about to get cleared in the Baron area.
No, Charles, where did he go? But yeah, they got no wards. Now the ward is dead. They're going to turn straight to this Baron. JDG looking confident to try and make this one work. Yagao is sitting off to the side. A TP's going to come in here. The Everfrost does get used on the Doinby. Doinby's actually quite large and in charge, I must admit. This Baron doesn't go down exceptionally quickly. It's still only 27 minutes into the game, so JDG, they're delaying this game. They're kind of pushing their advantage. Yes, it's still 7,000 gold. It is still massively in their favor. But like you said earlier, that Dragon Soul win condition is still about 6.5 minutes away, which is plenty of time to build up 3 and 4 items onto your carries of LNG.
They got what they wanted, right? They got a TP from Arle, which is the big thing. So now 369 can really pressure the side lane. In fact, they can actually double stack the side lane, have Yagao and 369 push in. And then it's only really Doinby, I guess you can contest, because he does have the TP in the Weaver's Wall. But if you have a scenario where Doinby like over pushes a bit, which is really easy to do because you don't have any towers apart from the inhib tower, you could maybe have them collapse on Doinby, kill him. If LNG try and do anything around Baron, you just have them TP in. So definitely a precarious angle with that being down, but I feel like that's not really going to be the focal point for here. Dragon is up in 50 seconds, and we finally get it. The IE is completed by Light. Zeri is a champion.
I mean, Zeri is a champion. If anything, she is even more than a champion. She's starting to get to uncontainable moments here. We saw what Hope could do on the champion in the late game, in the last game. Now it's on to a Light to make the exact same kind of impact. And even just being able to scout out for vision like that, just being able to see if someone's just hovering over the side because of the amount of priority that JDG have. And now 369, there's a TP coming in. That's going to be Yagao coming in here to try and maybe make something work here. Ala's found him. Ala knows that he's there, so they're not going to be caught out by the flank just yet. 16 seconds till that dragon spawns, and Ala's getting up towards Mega Gnar. Actually steals away the red buff as well. As you can see, Yagao tries to jump in, but that's on the Tarzan. That's a good tidal wave there onto him as he tries to get taken out. The wild growth is used, and they're kind of separated out right now. You can see the 369 trying to jump onto Light to make sure he take him out. Ala falls, and JDG are still pushing forward. He flashes in. He gets himself the cold of meat, and they're taking them all out to the cleaners. It's going to be 4 kills over to the side of JDG as they brute force their way into game 2.
And they zoom on a 369. We all know that was all him. The rest of the team couldn't even reach LNG with the wall in the way. They only joined the fight at the end to clean up. But 369, this man mode Renekton beasts his way in and absolutely decimates LNG. I saw that moment where he was on top of Light, pots the Randuins, and you're just staring at this humongous crocodile like, oh. Oh, and yeah, Tarzan's gonna maybe look for a steal. He has Hex Flash, but
they know he's there. Yep, they know he's there, and he's.
There's no way you get close now.
No, he can't. If they didn't know he was there, maybe he Hex Flash over. Maybe he gets another opportunity, but it's not quite to be. Baron goes over to JDG. It's now a 12,000 gold lead, or just a little bit underneath it. I don't even know if LNG have time to take this dragon. They're gonna try, but I don't think it's gonna be worth it.
I feel like, you know, we have the Baron recalls. JDG beelining straight there. I don't think he'll be able to pick these up. And now, I mean, JDG have the Baron. They've already taken every tower outside the base apart from that top tier 2. It's going to be really easy for them to push the game on. But here, Yagao ends up getting, like, bounced around this fight. Fortunately, because he has the Zhonyas and the Banshees, he's quite tanky, able to survive a lot of punishment here. But it's all about 369. We don't get to see him pop off again because Yagao, once again, was in potentially a rough position there, but can just get away. Dragon is going to get taken down. And that's now 3. I said that Soul was going to come in really late in the game. That is definitely true, but we are approaching that quickly, and the game isn't looking much better for LNG.
No, we'll see 369 trying to now jump onto Doonby, who has no flash, remember, so he's just going to try and kite this one out. It's a fight on 2 fronts. You can see the rest of LNG now trying to defend their mid laner, but 369 is not afraid of you. 369 doesn't need the rest of his team. I will say Kanavi taking a significant chunk of damage, as you can see Charzan on the bot side having a bit of a 1v1 against Yagao, but this is LNG desperately trying to keep control of their base as JDG come and knock it, and they want their money.
I mean, they are just pushing in, and the fact they've taken down Doinby as well, a big part of the wave clear. There's no really to stop. There's just no contest right now. JDG are dominating.
They are absolutely smacking LNG about. You will have the Keeper's Verdict to maybe knock somebody out. It will get rid of 369 for the moment. Hope did have the Black Shield on him. Ala looking for something. But this late in the game, you can't even rely on a Black Shield being down, as now Yagao does have the wild growth available to him should he get in any more trouble, as Ala is going to go into Mega and clear out that wave. So LNG, they survive for now, but I don't know if it's, are you surviving or are you living? That's the biggest difference in this game, because they're not having a fun time. Yeah, they are really struggling to find their ways back in, and like at the moment, yes, Light now has like the spike that we look for from the Zeri, but he's not doing any damage to 369. 369 is too tanky. He's got Death Stance and Randuin's, so you're not cutting through him. Even Yagao, even Kanavi, like everyone's bulky on this team apart from the bot lane, just because they have like the extra armor from Zhonyas and Banshees. Like, look at both the AP champs on JDG. They both have that double defensive that they've built, which just makes it really hard to punish anyone. And it's Dragon in 3 minutes. The Baron has timed out, but JDG, they managed to take the mid inhib and the bot inhib tower, but now they're looking at this tier 2 that's kind of exposed on the map. Here he comes. He's an absolute unit coming up now towards this. 369 knows that he is the guy who can make everything happen for his team. He gets in over the wall, clears out that vision, so they do not have a good idea where he is. And Yagao, with TP, can just join whenever he likes. He can put pressure because you already have super minions in mid lane. You're going to have him pushing now, knocking on the inhibitor in bot. This is JDG just playing this so correctly, so smartly, and kind of not even giving LNG an opportunity for a 5v5 when the Zeri pops off.
Yeah, I feel like there's teams who, if they have a Baron, you know, if there's a Dragon fight, they'll try and be aggressive, but between that, they'll just be a lot more slow paced. JDG are a team where they don't need Baron, they don't need Dragons, they don't need anything, just an advantage that they can leverage to try and apply pressure. They've taken that tier 2, and they're continuing that. The bot inhib's now down. Yagao's pushing super minion waves in. Well, actually, it's not super minion waves in the bot lane now, but like, LNG are pulled apart.
Yeah, and they're going to have a Weaver's Wall to separate them out. Tarzan a little bit isolated from the rest of his team, but should be able to kind of clear this one out. I will say that Talia does have exceptional wave clear, especially this late into the game. So you are able to keep these waves at bay for now. You've got 2 minutes, 40 seconds on the middle inhibitor, about 4 minutes, 20 onto the bot lane ones. So plenty of time to be able to pick yourself up the Soul, pick yourself up a Baron before really any kind of lenience of this pressure comes in for LNG.
And the easiest way to ensure that LNG can't contest Dragon is you don't let them leave their base. You don't let them get any vision down. So we get Yagao TPing in, they're continuing the pressure, and they're just not letting LNG breathe.
No, Tarzan gets chunked out to below about half of his HP. Alla gonna go Mega very, very soon. But again, with the Black Shield available to Kanavi, he can pick and choose. Maybe should have chose himself. We're gonna hop in on top of him. Flash in from 369. A tidal wave to disengage. There's a Keeper's Verdict to knock back Yagao. They are still protecting themselves. Light goes forward as Light's looking to try and be the DPS. He needs to be the hero, and he gets the GA out of 369. Now this fight gets a little bit more dicey as the bat that gets a burst down onto him. It's gonna put down the Mega Inferno Rocket, but not quite enough damage. And Yagao goes straight in on top of this. Look at the dancing. Look at the kiting coming out from Hope as he knows how he needs to play these fights. Doonby goes down. JDG are getting themselves another win, and they're going to put themselves onto match point in this best of 5.
Absolute decimation. They don't even need the soul. They don't need another Baron. They just keep applying pressure. The outplay, just the skill that JDG is putting on display here, and they take the series to a 2-0. That game 1 was an absolute battle. It was a back and forth, and LNG made it really close. This game 2, it was like 2 picks from the side of LNG, where I was like, yeah, maybe, but the rest of the game was just completely JDG favored. They had control, they had the early pressure, and they knew exactly how to continue it.
Yeah, great, just general play. And actually, I think I called the Ultra Shock Laser Super Mega Death Rocket right at the end there, so